Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Languages with Core. I hope you all are doing good. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss about some of the useful and important adverbs of English language, which are almost known to everyone, but very few of the students or you can say people know the exact use of those adverbs, exact meaning of those adverbs. Those are really very important to learn while you are learning about advanced English. Well, these words are almost similar. They do have same meanings and they are used regularly by the native speakers. Which are these words? These are nevertheless, nonetheless, and notwithstanding. So today in this video, I will teach you about the usage of these three words. Now the question is, if these are similar, where do they differentiate? So I hope this video will clear your doubts. Friends, let me throw the light on the fact that all these three adverbs do have same meaning. If you heard about the conjunctions of English language, main conjunctions, despite of, in spite of, if you understand those conjunctions easily, you know how to use those, you can easily understand the usage of these adverbs. The main meaning of all these three adverbs is despite the fact. Despite the fact. So we can use all these three interchangeably with the conjunctions despite of and in spite of. Though all these adverbial words do have same meaning, still there are slight differences. By learning all these differences, you will be able to determine which one to use in different circumstances. First of all, I would like to start with nevertheless. Nevertheless, it is also called a compound word because it has different parts. You can see it is the combination of three words, nevertheless. Nevertheless, together it is nevertheless. Now, where do we use it? First of all, let me mention that when we are trying to show contrast between two phrases, there are two phrases and we are showing any kind of comparison, any kind of contrast. At that time we use nevertheless. Second thing is, we usually use nevertheless when we are talking about some of the situations or we are talking about some of the incidents which are occurring or which may occur or which has happened in the past. So we are talking about basically situations and incidents. At that time we make use of this nevertheless. Now in these sentences there is the main clause and we do want to add some kind of surprising information or some kind of contrast to the statement which is already said. So at that time we make use of nevertheless in between those two sentences. Every time I try to explain or teach you something important regarding English language or any important grammatical structure of English language, I definitely provide some of the examples to make the things more clear to you. So for having more clarity about the use of nevertheless, here is the example. You can see there was a recession due to the epidemic COVID-19. Nevertheless, our business kept on gaining profits. Now in this statement you can see there are two clauses. First one is the main clause. There was a recession due to the epidemic COVID-19, and then there is one more clause, and in between these two clauses there is the contrast. You can see that's why I have used nevertheless in between these two phrases. Now everyone knows that whenever there is a recession there would be the downfall of economy, there would be any kind of loss, but here I am saying that though there was a recession, but their business or our business kept on gaining profits. So these things are at contrast, profit and recession. So that's why I have made use of this term adverb nevertheless to show the contrast. I hope this example had made it clear to you how to make use of this term nevertheless. Now main thing is we can also make use of nevertheless in the starting of the sentence. We can make its use in the middle of the sentences, and we can also use it in the end. Here is the example to show how to make its use in the end of the sentence. Sentence is like this: he couldn't do well in the exam, but he is intelligent nevertheless. There are some other points which you should keep in your mind while you are deciding upon making use of nevertheless. These are, first one is that when you are framing your sentences in active form and you want to show contrast between two phrases, at that time you make use of nevertheless instead of making use of nonetheless or notwithstanding. The second thing is when you are writing about something negatively, at that time make use of this adverb nevertheless. Let's move to the second one, that is nonetheless. It is also a compound word. You can see if we break it into parts, there are three words, nonetheless, and together it's nonetheless. Now again, it is used to show contrast between two phrases, between two things, between two statements. However, those things or those subjects or nouns in those sentences are mostly measurable. When we are talking about the things or the nouns or the subjects which are quantifiable, at that time we make use of this nonetheless, but it is not used regularly. It is less used as compared to nevertheless. Nevertheless is used more frequently by the people. However, when we make sentences in passive form and we are showing contrast, at that time we make use of nonetheless, or we are talking about something positively, at that time we make use of nonetheless. So you can see the example to have better understanding of the use of nonetheless. For example, if I say that the amount of the donation was really small, nonetheless it made a difference. So now you can see that in this example I am talking about donation positively, that though the amount of the donation was quite less, still it contributed positively. So in these cases we make use of this term nonetheless. Here is the second example. You can say that there are possible risks, nonetheless we assume it's a good investment. So again, here I am talking positively, that there are some kind of risk associated to this investment, still we can assume it's a good one. So for the quantifiable things or the things which we can measure, in those cases we make use of nonetheless. And the last one is notwithstanding. It's a kind of compound preposition, notwithstanding. It is rarely seen, but whenever it comes in your reading text or when you need to write about something, you can make use of it to show your ability to make use of advanced English or to make your writings more formal. And the literal meaning of this word is in spite of. In spite of. There are many occasions when we need to write or when we need to make use of conjunctional words, in spite of, despite of. So to show your ability to have better understanding of advanced English or to show your capability of lexical resources, you can make use of this uncommon vocabulary words notwithstanding by replacing in spite of. Look at the example. If I say that notwithstanding the different conflicts between India and Pakistan, comma, there are many similarities in terms of culture and language. So what is the structure of using all these nevertheless, nonetheless, and notwithstanding in the starting of any sentence? It should be like this. You should make use of this word notwithstanding, plus there should be any noun or noun clause, plus then you should mention about the main action verb or a statement in which an action is being performed. Most of the students who are preparing for IELTS exams, they find this word very tricky. Whenever they see this word in their reading passages, they do not understand the exact meaning or in which context this word is being used. They do not understand the statement. Or in their formal writings, suppose they are going to write about essay in their IELTS exam, they are unable to make use of this because they do not have proper understanding of the usage of this adverb notwithstanding. So that's why I want to assist you by giving you some more example to make more clarity. Here is the example. You can say, notwithstanding the fact he worked hard, comma, he failed. If I replace this word notwithstanding with in spite of, it would be like this. In spite of the fact he worked hard, he failed. I hope this will give you more clarity. Next one is notwithstanding the opposition, the government has passed the law. Now you can see, oh, there was the opposition from the other parties, government still has passed the law. So you can see, in spite of the opposition, government has passed the law. So notwithstanding the opposition, government has passed the law. So in the end, my suggestion for you is that whenever you are writing something formally in English language, or when you need to speak formally in any kind of interview or somewhere else, you should make use of all these formal words, notwithstanding, nonetheless, and nevertheless in your conversations or in your writing texts. You can replace all other common words, however, in spite of, despite of, with these three words. I hope this video will assist you to have better understanding of all these three terms, and you will start making use of these. So see you in the next video with a new topic. Stay tuned, stay connected. Thanks for watching.